This image is based on a still from one of photographer Liam Wong's stories that he posted to Instagram. To achieve symmetry in the image, I used Procreate's symmetry tool, which let me draw on one side of the canvas but it duplicates it on the opposite. I also copied elements and mirrored them and later tweaked them in order to get them to be the right size. To more easily add shadows and highlights to many of the elements, I used Alpha Lock. This layer mode only lets you paint within the areas that's already on the layer. Alpha Lock is a really good tool because it lets you very quickly add highlights and shadows within just that area. The problem is you might lose some of the details you already have on that layer. Instead, you can use something called a clipping mask, where you paint on a separate layer and you don't destroy the base layer. I use Alpha Lock and clipping masks almost interchangeably in my work. A lot of the time I prefer the clipping mask because it means I can layer all the colours and see what works and what doesn't. But sometimes I have an issue with Procreate where I don't have enough layers, and in that case I tend to use Alpha Lock instead. One of the things that drew me to this reference image was not just the moody atmosphere, but the shadows and how they weren't black, but instead they're kind of glowing red. And this is something I really wanted to try to replicate. I also love the surprising urban setting of these torii gates, because I didn't really imagine that you have these shrines and temples standing in the middle of big buildings in the middle of a city. In my last image, I added a cat for a bit of whimsy at the end, but for this one I planned to have it there all along just because I thought it would really work with the setting. If you have any questions about my process, then ask them below in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. More of my process videos can be found here on my YouTube account, but if you want to see more of my work, you can find those on my social media accounts.